Alright, here is the video review for Transformers Kingdom, War for Cybertron Trilogy, Voyager DINOBOT. He's here. He came in from CMD store. Today, I was worried that he was scheduled for delivery today, and then we had some ice storm, and I thought maybe he wouldn't make it. But he was delivered, and here he is. He's fun. He's a raptor. He's old Chopper Face himself. Rah rah. Here he is with his good buddy Rat Trap, who you can make. He can ride. Rat Trap can ride his friend. Look at that. That actually works pretty well. But yeah, that's just fun. Been a bit of a week here. Ice storm last weekend led to us having to hunker down over at some friends' houses. A friend who has an Oculus Quest 2, and I got to play Beat Saber, so now I own an Oculus Quest 2. And I've been playing Beat Saber and Bait. I've been streaming Bait, which is just a free fishing game that comes with the thing. It's a lot of fun. But really, surprised at the advances in VR these days, and to have it all self-contained is really cool. I also picked up Until You Fall, which is also recommended. Anyway, but Beat Saber. I mean, I've played a lot of Beat Saber. Anyway, if you have an Oculus Quest, my Oculus account is just simply PL out there as well, so look me up. Anyway, here's DINOBOT with his big long tail. It does have a purple tip, and I will say, under bright lights, it's a very obviously purple tip. It's the tip of his sword sticking out there. And okay, sure, fine. But in my living room, like it's you can tell it's a different color, but it's not so. Under certain lighting conditions, it's not so obviously sticking out. It's there. I mean, let's face it. You're probably going to keep him in robot mode a lot of the time because his Raptor mode is actually not too bad. I mean, the profile really isn't obnoxious. He's got the feet hanging out back here. You know, there's definitely some bits. You can see his robo mode ribs here on the back of his thighs because that's where they store. And I feel like, you know, in the show, his hip balls were kind of a chrome. And I feel like they wouldn't have lost anything by making these pieces the same. You know, he's still got the gold detailing on his legs, but I feel like you could have made these this brown and had them match in a little bit better, both in robot mode and they certainly wouldn't detract from robot mode, and they'd blend in a little better here in Raptor mode. Because really, a little bit of detailing on the underside is one thing, but dead on from the front, he's just got these big golden orbs here on his chest. So, I'm saying his jaw does open and close to about like that. You can close it all the way up as well. His arms move. He can lift up and down. He's got elbow joints. There's a ball joint here. That's how they fold up for transformation. I don't remember them being quite so floppy hangy like that. I would have liked a little bit more, maybe able to bend the fingers here just a little bit in the middle as well. But you can bring his arms up. They don't have to be quite as floppy, but they're a little awkward. You can't really straighten them more than that. They do rotate. They're on ball joints, but there's not a real decent, really looking position for them unless you just want to kind of have them hang down like that as he runs. His legs are articulated. He's got knees. He's got a swivel there above the ankle. He's got a hinge there. The toes themselves can grab and claw. It's just robot thigh, or his arms, I guess it's bicep swivel, but it can rotate within that thigh piece as well. His eyes, this eye I think looks okay with the pupil on it. This one didn't quite match up. If you look at him from the front, he looks a little weird. And it may be possible to touch that up. But this eye, I think this eye looks good. And this eye doesn't look bad if you're only looking at it from this side of the dinosaur. But if you look at it dead, either one looks fine from the side. It's only when you see both eyes at once that he's a little off. But alas. Anyway, let's turn him into the robot that we know. Go ahead and pull his tail off. And if you want to, you can go ahead now and split the tail open here. And come on, open up. There we go. Open that up and pull the sword out. And we'll set those off to the side. So take the core dino here and take his legs and just lift them, the whole assembly up to the side like that. And then the feet, you see there's a little tab here into the golden piece. Kind of pull that out. Kind of got to pull that out to the side, and that will let you, once you get that loose, It will let you pull the whole leg down. It's tabbed in up here, this little inner piece. Bring the legs down like that, and then bend the knees, and then close these around to form the leg, and straighten his feet. Pull his heels out. Very tight. And then rotate, make a sassy, I guess his head doesn't turn, but you can make a little sassy Dinobot with legs there if you want. Anyway, bring these down, rotate them around at the waist, and there you've got the legs done. That looks ridiculous, but I mean, he's walking like an Egyptian, as many dinosaurs often did. But bring this up, go ahead and close up his mouth, go ahead and fold his raptor head down at the neck. Go ahead and fold these up. There you can see there's a little tab there. You want to tap, make sure the hand tabs onto that. Just bring them down like this for the time being. And that'll come up like that. Untab this piece behind the head and bring that up, and this whole piece comes down and around. And this little tab in front of his neck is going to kind of sit inside the dinosaur head. There's the basic frame of his core right there. And once that's done, lift these pieces up like this, rotate these around, and these are going to come in and tab into place. Not really tab into place, but fold in along his the inner torso. And then these panels right here, I'll bring the legs up out of there. Bring these back down to the side. This you could actually just go ahead and kind of fold up, and it doesn't latch into place, but kind of tuck back here into the it clips on there, and then it just kind of tucks away in this piece, but it doesn't really latch in place here. Oh, actually, no, there are some little tabs there. I have so far just been resting those behind those tabs, but you can actually tab that into place there on his back. Great. And then these panels right here with the ribs, they open up off the back. This back piece sits behind the arm. This piece just comes around front, and then you fold these down to the side. As it should, which should give you clearance on this piece right here. What am I missing here? Okay. That's absolutely where these all go. And everything's lined up right. Maybe this needs to sit forward more? No. Oh, you know what? I did that. It's my fault. It's my fault. I did this backwards. The arms come down first. Let's see. I know where everything goes. These come down first, and then these fold in. And there's a little tab here that will tab into the hand, like in the front of the top of the claw, like that. There you go. There we go. Tab that in. Then bring the arms down, rotate them around at the shoulder joint. And then just bring them down, close up his claws, rotate them at the wrist, like that. Same over here. Bring the hollow part to the inside, rotate the wrist. And there is Dinobot in robot mode with a very nicely cartoon accurate face. An interesting way, like I said, it's an interesting way they got the flattened dino head here. You can kind of see, if you look right in the crack, you can kind of see his original dinosaur eyes. But a very clever way of doing it. The only drawback to how they did it is is like I said, you can kind of see the blue and the silver ribs on the back of his dino thighs. So his dino mode's not 100% perfect, but it's fun for what it is, and the fact that you get a Dinobot robot looking this good. He does have a little bit of a backpack. But that's a nice looking Dinobot. He's got a ball joint at the head. He's got triple hinge shoulders. So I guess there's a hinge there and a hinge here, as well as a swivel here, bicep swivel, hinge elbows to about 90 degrees, a little past 90 degrees. Wrist swivel. He has the same wrist hinge there that was his ankle in dinosaur mode. And the claws are all one piece on each side. But he can open them and close them. waist swivel, dual hinge hips, or thigh swivel, hinge knees again to just a smidge past 90 degrees maybe, and then not a ball joint, but a hinge forward and back at the foot as well as ankle tilt. So it's nice that they got all of that in there. And you can have him hold the kind of tail propeller weapon in his hand. Although, if you put this in his hand, he's got little peg holes, but it does push his claw out a little wider. Like, you can't really grip it. It's just kind of sitting there in his hand. The sword, again, you can either have it plugged in, you can peg it into the front of this, so it's sticking out like that. You can actually plug it into his hand straight out. Oh, no, you can't actually. Haha, they kept you from being able to do that. In the old toy, you could stick it straight out of his hand. But then he can actually grip his sword. And I don't believe, I'm going to look in the instructions, I don't believe there's storage for the tail elsewhere in robot mode. I think it's either just in his hand or in a bin. Because like I said, the propeller, without having the old spinning gimmick, it's just kind of awkward to have him holding this giant tail blade thing around other figures. Like, it gets in the way. But I'm sure somebody has found a fan storage solution. Also, here's his instructions, just green and black and white. Also, the card he came with, since he's Wave 2, I got the Megatron foil card. And if you open up his little sticker, it looks like he is some sort of chain-wielding labor leader on Cybertron. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't translated the Cybertronese yet. I'm sure somebody has already. I just haven't looked it up. But, yeah, cool little shiny Megatron sticker. And, of course, we've got to have comparison time with this really fantastic Dinobot. I mean, like, yeah, let me bring him up. Look at this face. Look at it. It's just such a fantastic Dinobot sculpt. He's got his little scowl. And just a really fun toy. And so we'll refocus on him here. And we'll do some comparisons with first his Predacon buddies. So here he is with Megatron and Black Arachnia. Although I guess Black Arachnia was never really one of his friends until the end. Like, she was not activated before he switched to the Maximals. And then they were enemies until... Wait, did she even come over to them? I mean, I guess she was with Dinobot for a while, but I don't even think she didn't even become a Transmetal until after he was not around. So I don't know, were they ever... They were never friends. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I don't think they were ever friends. Whatever. There is Vertebrake. Speaking of people that were never friends. And, of course, here he is with Bonitis. So there's Dinobot with all the current shelf Predacons. But, of course, we're gonna use Black Arachnia to pull him over. Because, that's for the blooper reel. Except that everything's just in the video. Here he is. He is the tallest of them, so here he is with his Kingdom Maximo friends. Like that. And of course, even though we are getting a Rhinox in, I believe it's Wave 3, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out. Until then, I have no problem. There's the Thrilling 30 Rhinox. So there's the core. This is what I was excited for. Like, I'm looking forward to Tigatron and Air Razor and all of the figures that we are getting from Beast Wars in the line. But that right there's your original 5 Maximals and the core team there. And it's nice to finally have them dudes together. Although they are all dudes. Well, Air Razor will show up soon and bring a little, balance to the team. A little bit of balance to the team. Anyway, yeah, there's the core group that was the core group for a while of the good guys, and they look good together. So yeah, got him from CMD Store. I wasn't expecting him. I pre-ordered him back at the same time, like back in December when they first went up, and then forgot about it. And all of a sudden I got a ship notice. I'm like, ooh, it's coming. I'm like, it's DINOBOT. So that was really cool. Also, if you haven't read the new Beast Wars comic from Josh Bertram and Eric Burnham, highly recommend it. A lot of fun. Looking like it's going to be a good story. David Kay read part of it on an AMA this past weekend. But some similarities, some changes. Really looking forward to seeing where those guys take that story. Josh I love his art. I've loved his colors for years. I've always been like, I loved when he did the Machine Wars comic for BotCon, and I've been a big proponent of he should do a whole comic. And I'm so glad that he is getting to do the Beast Wars comic, and because his art, I really dig his art style. It's fun. And Eric Burnham, I have been reading his stories for, like, in Ghostbusters, and I guess it's mostly Ghostbusters, but he's written some Spider-Man and some Ninja Turtles. Like, I really like Eric Burnham's storytelling. So those two together, I am fantastically excited for where they're going to take some of my favorite characters from Transformers of all time. So no pressure, guys. So check that out if you haven't yet. Oculus Quest is really fun. If you have the means, I highly recommend checking one out. It is so choice, in the motor words of old FB. But anyway, there's DINOBOT. He's cool. Highly recommended. Add him to your team today. Thanks for watching. Right there on his back, where it plugs in for dinosaur mode, before anybody yells at me. You with the sword or without the sword, you can absolutely store that right there on his back. If you don't want, it makes it a little awkward, but you don't want to have him holding the thing right there where it's supposed to go. Ignore me. I was wrong, and the toy makers are right. You can store that tail.